Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Yeah, this is Andre Wade with Just Release. Yeah, coming some days late from Christmas, but I've been there, man. I've been enjoying myself. I got to show them Rockets off, them Rockets, them championship Rockets. Yeah, them Rockets. Yeah, them James Harden. Yeah, Westbrook. Yeah, doing their thing. Yeah. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been doing my thing. I've been doing my thing, y'all. I meant to do one on Christmas and had a blessed day on Christmas, but it just didn't come out right. It just didn't turn out right. So I didn't even send it. I didn't even send it. It didn't turn out right the way I wanted it. And mm, good cup of coffee this morning. Good cup of coffee. Get you generated. Oh, I've been enjoying the holidays and Christmas we but this is the thing. This is it right here though. This is it. This is to start it off. May y'all had a Merry Christmas. I pray that y'all had a Merry Christmas and pieces was upon y'all on Christmas. And the Santa Clauses that you do know that made it a blessing for that day, the real Santa Claus, that it was a merry day for them children. Oh, because that was a day for love. That was a day for love. Yeah, that was a day where that we share love. The real Santa Clauses. Yeah, we ain't talking about that one that come down the chimney. We ain't talking about it. We don't even know about him. We don't even know about him. We got on a discussion on Christmas about how Christmas came about. So this is the first time you're gonna hear this on Just Release. You ain't gonna hear this nowhere else. This is the first time you heard this on Just Release, and this is a joke. This is a joke. This is a Christmas joke for you all, and y'all can share it with somebody. Cause when y'all tell somebody about Just Release, y'all tell them to push the like button. Push that like button. I'm gonna tell y'all, this is a Christmas story, a Christmas joke. Back in the days before man all knew God, see, cause every man didn't know God in them days. We talking about in the Old Testament of the Bible, and every man didn't know God, and every man didn't have a language, and every man didn't have a culture. So one day it was a special day. It was something special about this day, because we know that at night in the desert it get cold. It be real cold. But this night it wasn't cold. This night it wasn't cold. And the people in the desert that night, they was noticing something, that the animals was running around and they was enjoying themselves because something special happened that night. Something special happened that night. So the people that was watching the animals, because they was watching the animals learning how to live. So they was watching the animals, and these people they couldn't talk. They was and they breath stank. Their breath stank real bad. They didn't have a thing yet, a mint plant or something to deal with their breath. So everybody breath stank, the women and the men, children, everything breath just was stinking. So they was watching these animals, and these animals was passing on things that became a name for it. It became gifts. and these animals, and they was passing it on to one another, right? They was passing it on to one another. And so these people that couldn't hardly talk, they they didn't have no language, and their breath was stinking and everything, and they was passing it on, and they was watching and looking at these animals passing things, fruits and stuff to one another. They seen it in the night. I told you it was something about this night. It was something about this night. It had this big old star up in the sky. The sky was bright, and it was nighttime, and it wasn't cold. It wasn't cold this night, and like it normally be in the desert. So these people, they watching these animals, and they grunting and stuff. They over there grunting and stuff, and one of them breath was so bad. One of them breath was so bad that he was saying something to the others, and the one that was closest by had a whiff of that breath, and when they had a whiff of that breath of the other one, that was what was grunting and speaking, because speaking became a language. And this night, a word was spoken. A word was spoken, and when that one was speaking out, he was speaking out, and his breath was real bad. So the one that was closest to him and listening to him, and when he got a real cause when the other one said something, it came out the stomach. It came out the stomach cause real hard, and the other one that was sitting there listening to him, that was closest to him, he said, "Oh, Christmas." First word that was spoken among them people that didn't have no language. Christmas. Yeah, that breath was so bad. That breath was so bad that when that other person that was speaking came out with something, and something came out of his breath, so it was so bad that the one that was listening said, "Christmas." And the word Christmas has been spoken ever since. That's Andre. That's a just released Andre Wade joke. That's a just released Andre Wade joke. The breath of it was so stank, because it was some people out there that couldn't even speak a language at the time that somebody was being born. Something was going on out there. Something was going on, and so a story came later that it was supposed to have been a king that was born that night, because something just wasn't right about that night. Something was just strange about that night. The animals was acting, and that's how the gift thing came about. The animals was passing gifts, and now all that they didn't know is that somewhere out there in that desert somewhere, it was a king being born. It was a king being born. And so as through time, stories been told of this Santa Claus. Stories been told of Jesus Christ was born that night. See, and through generations of time, languages had changed, and languages speaking, and all this is from that night up until this day. So many languages has been spoken from that night up until this day. And we was getting on the discussion about how it come about, and was that really Jesus Christ's birthday that night and everything, and that question gonna always be in the air. That question gonna always be in the air. That question is gonna be discussed about among people. But the special thing about that night is that the animals was showing love among one another. They were showing love among one another. People was described of coming to this place where this child was born, and they was bringing gifts. They was bringing gifts. And to the child. So on Christmas, we bring gifts to the children. On this day that they described it as Christmas, we bring these gifts to the children. That's what we do. We bring them to the children. We see that the children smile. We see that the children be happy. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas To all of you, Merry Christmas to all of you. And you know, people, you know, they talk about, you know, things. When I remember when I was in prison, right? And you know, I told you I read a lot of things, and I studied a lot of things, and 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 one of these things I come in contact with was the Bible. The Bible. Yeah, I came in contact with the Bible. One of the most fascinating books I ever read in my life. And reading the Bible, it cultured a way of life for me. It cultured a belief in me. We people be inspired about some things that they read. Some people are, they take what they read and they place it among their lives, off of things that they read, off of things that they done went through. And when I was going through those years of incarceration, I was reading. I was reading and I was studying. And even though, when, and like I say, I read this Bible, but there was some things that was going on in my life that was about to take a change. It was about to take a change. And so when I was given my freedom, when I was given the opportunity to be released from prison, I went through some things. And I'm still going through some things. I'm going through some things right now. But like I say, that Bible was a fascinating book I had ever read in my life. And it was and when I read this book, and I became understandable of this book that I read, and God placed the knowledge upon my heart, and placed it feelings upon my spirit. I became knowledgeable of things that needed to take place in my life, things I needed to do as a man. And so I wanted to do a video on Christmas, but it didn't turn out right. So I didn't do it. But I have been enjoying myself. I've been enjoying myself since the day of Christmas. I've been enjoying myself since the day I was released. But people, when they look at you, people are so quick to judge at you. Even when people watch my show, when they watch this show, they're quick to judge. But it's all right, because it's all right with that. That I'm not, it's all right to judge. But see, when you judge, we're supposed to judge out of love. We're supposed to judge out of love. That's what we're supposed to do. But a lot of us don't. A lot of us don't. A lot of us, they think the way they judge is right, but the way they're judging, they'll criticize. They criticize it. Because, see, this show is about, being released. I told you it's about being released from anything that's been hindering you, right? So when we know that we've been free from something, we know we've been released from something that's been hindering us, then you should want to tell somebody. You should want to tell somebody. So, Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. And this is what I wanted to tell you, because some people say, well, I don't believe in Christmas. See, this is not about believing in Christmas. This is about believing in love, because of that night so long ago. And we're talking about that night so long ago. It's still talked about right now today. Right now today. It's still talked about, and we're talking about at that time. At that time, and see, that's what made that night there so strong and so gifted. So gifted. I was looking at a show of Dirty Weathers. I was looking at Dirty Weather show. I don't know if any of you all watch his show, but he got a show and it's called Dirty Weathers 916. And he had a show that he was doing, and he was talking about Black Friday. How did Black Friday come about? See, these names that's been titled on these days come from man. They come from man. So, you know, when we place these titles upon these names of these days and of these months, they come from man. And when we look at it, I remember watching a movie. It was a Chuck Norris movie. And in that movie, it said, good men wear black. Good men wear black. So we're not going to look at Black Sunday as something being negative, because Black Friday, Black Friday is a day where you can go and shop and buy things at a cheaper price. You can go buy things, so that's a good thing. I remember I said that Chuck Norris, they had the movie where they had the men in black. And men, you know, these movies, and when you look at all these movies that these good guys in these westerns and all that, they had on black, and they wasn't bad men. So we're not going to describe Black Friday as a bad thing. As a bad thing, because the show was asking, Dirty Weather show was asking about how did that really come about, Black Friday. Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. I was but that day, that Friday, you know, I had all of my loved ones was over here, and I wish I would have did the video right now, because I thought about all my beautiful nieces. Boy, I got some beautiful nieces. Oh, and some handsome nephews. Oh Lord, and there's so many of them. And when I had gotten incarcerated, I only had two nephews, no nieces. At that time, Merry Christmas to all of you. And see, and this is the thing that takes place in all our lives. Because like I said, that when we become incarcerated, time don't stop. Time continue to go on. Time continue to go on. It don't stop because we get locked up. Love don't stop because we get locked up. Gifts don't stop because we get locked up. Because that night, what took place was something special. See, because it was thrown in the air. Okay, let's say it was thrown in the air. Let's say it was just thrown in the air. At that time, of something that took place of a child being born. You feel me? At that time, that is still talked about, and the tradition of it is still going on right now today. And if you've seen anything bad of that, see, because if you're focusing on the story that being told on how Christmas come about, then your mindset is in that stage of thinking of something negative. Something negative. And when your mindset is supposed to be placed on what Jesus Christ did on the face of the earth. Because when he walked this face of the earth, he only taught love. He taught love. He wanted everybody to love one another. He wanted everybody to share things that was good in their lives with one another. These are the things that he wanted. Everybody's trying to just place out things that don't make sense. See, if you used to be bad, if you used to be a bad character, because I used to be a bad character. So now that I'm trying to create my character in a matter of goodness, then the people is only going to see what's bad in me. They're not going to see what's good. They're not going to see what's good, but guess what? Merry Christmas to all of you. Merry Christmas to all of you. See, that was gifts that was being spread among the animals. That was gifts being spread through the generations of time among one another. Because of that night, gifts is what we share with one another on Christmas. Love is what we receive on Christmas. Merry Christmas to all of you. This is Andre Wade with Just Release, and I'll be back.